So, Dustin, could you share with our audience a hymn that you've written, the background behind it, and how it has impacted you?
So I'll share with you my hymn called "Help My Unbelief." It's probably my favorite of my hymns that I've written. And by the way, I write the hymn texts, except for my wedding hymn that I mentioned, that I sang to my wife. That's the only musical composition I've done. I might get into it someday, but I'm not skilled in music composition, so I just thought I'll just stick with the words. I know English, I know theology, just stick with that. So I wrote this when I was with trusting in God, when I had trust in God and yet not much trust in God as I wanted to. And I thought of the father of the young man who said, I believe, Lord, help my unbelief, help me in my unbelief. And so the refrain says, I believe, yes, I believe, help, O Lord, my unbelief. I believe, yes, I believe, help, O Lord, my unbelief. And that's where I kind of the cry of my heart. And you sing that so many times throughout the hymn because this contradiction you have in your own soul with, I believe, I trust in you, and yet I don't trust in you and rely upon you as much as I should. So the first stanza is about fear and unbelief. And this is as if you are Peter and you're in the water and you're starting to sink. So he cries out to Jesus, and of course, Jesus reaches down and lifts him up. So it says this, I can trust you when I see every step you've planned for me, but when waves arise, fear awakens in my eyes. Why do I distrust and fear? You will never disappear. Reach into this stormy sea, hear my cry, and rescue. Each stanza has a question in it. So in this particular stanza, it is, why do I distrust and fear? And then the second stanza is about sin and unbelief, because anytime you're going through trials, you often have your own sin nature to combat. I am fully satisfied when my heart delights in Christ. But when I give in to sin, only hollow joys remain. And here's the question, who can satisfy but you? You can fill me through and through. Quench my thirsty soul, O Lord, that my joy may be restored. That question is a rhetorical one. Who can satisfy but you? You're the only one who can fill me. And then the third stanza is pain. So you think of Job. If you want to think of a person in your mind, the first stanza is about Peter. Second stanza is like David in the throes of his own sin with Bathsheba and then murdering Bathsheba. The third stanza would be about Job, knowing suffering and pain. He was humbled by God and that he's good, but when trials come, it goes out the window. We forget that God's good. So here's the third stanza. I know you are good to me when you send prosperity, but when peace gives way to pain, in frustration I complain. How do I find fault with you? You are always just and good. Grant me faith, not relief. Help, oh help, my unbelief. So I love those questions because they're questions that we know the answers to. Why do I distrust and fail? Because I don't believe enough. Who can satisfy but you? You know, you're the only one who can satisfy. How could I find fault with you? Well, that was dumb. Believe in God, trust in him. And they're all rooted in the fact that there is going on, and yet there's a cry for ongoing belief. So in a sense, this is a song of confession, not as much a song of like assurance or thanksgiving, like thank you, God, for rescuing me in the midst of this trial. It's help me and help me to lean upon you in the midst of trial, a lament/confession song. So that's one of my hymns, probably my favorite, about 6 years ago now. It's been a while.
Wow, that's really lovely. And I know I personally, and like you said, many Christians can relate to that frustration of knowing that we have faith in the Lord, but not trusting him so often in the day to day. So, wow, thank you. And is that on your website?
It is. I just linked to where you can find it on the publisher's website. It's churchworksmedia.com. And then you can find it in the hymns list called Help My Unbelief. It's music is by my friend Paul Q, who was a music pastor in somewhere. And then he is the one who oversees a lot of the production of Churchworks Media, the company.
We can link that below so that people can read it and find the music for themselves and start singing it.
Great.
I really like it. I really like that line as well about giving me faith, not just relief.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's an
That one
important
gets me
word.
every time too.
Yeah, I was like, oh, you got me right there. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Hymnpartial podcast. Before you click away, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so that you're notified of future posts on this channel. More details like how to support us or how to sign up for our free weekly newsletter can be found at hymnpartial.com.